Hey folks, Labyrinth here once again. Hope you can see me and hear me. Yeah, got a little bit of the sunshine out today. Yeah, wanted to get some sun in the room so you don't see me in the dark. Anyway guys, I just got off work, so I'm doing a video today, and I'm sorry if I was a little tired. Yeah, we were very busy at work today. But anyway, happy December 1st. Yes, we're in December now. Got one more month of 2021, and then we'll be in a new year. And anyway guys, yeah, sorry if I sound a little, I'm exhausted, just to let you know, because I just came back from work, but I do want to get some videos done. And let me drink the water real quick. Anyway, continuing my Superman marathon I've been talking about Smallville, and last time I gave my thoughts on season 5, so now I'm giving my thoughts / favorite episodes of Smallville season 6. Yes, which ran from, I think, 2006 to 2007. Smallville, season 6. And I will say, I enjoy this. I think it's just, I put it up there with season 1 and 2. I think it's better than season 3 and 4. And I also think it's just as good as season 5. So far, those are my top seasons that I enjoy the most. I like season 3 and 4, but I just think season 1, 2, 5, and 6 are a lot better. And plus, we get some new characters in the season, like Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, cool picture. But I will get to all that. Yeah, I've written down my favorite episodes of this season and some okay ones. So, again, this video might be long, so if you're eating something, whatever, just enjoy the video. So here we go. Yeah. Pretty much what happens is season 6, what season 6 is about, its story arc is involved Clark trying to recapture several escaped criminals from the Phantom Zone, the destinies of Lionel Lex following the aftermath of Lex's position by Zod, and Lionel's adoption as a emissary of Gabriel. And also season 6 here of Smallville introduces new characters. We get new characters like Jimmy Olsen, Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow, and Martian Manhunter. Aaron Ashmore, I think his brother Sean Ashmore, I believe, might have been the X-Men films. The first one, X-Men 2000, X2, X-Men 9, X-Men 3. Sean Ashmore, his brother, if I remember the character in season 1, Eric Summers. I think this is his twin brother here. And, yeah, Justin Hurley from Morse. So all other key storyline involved Lana and Lex's marriage, as well as Lex's secret 33.1 project. So, even though season 6 looked at the range, I don't get why, you know. But that's just me personally. But so far that's what the season's about, and the new characters, so I just went through that. I hope you're paying attention. Alright. Alright. Let's go ahead and get started with my favorite episodes of Smallville season 6. So here we go. Alright. First favorite episode is Zod. Yes, if y'all remember when Zod possessed at the end of season 5, when Zod possessed used Lex's body as a vessel. Pretty much this season opens up with Clark. He's up in the Phantom Zone. He's looking, trying to. It's like he's trapped in a mirror. That's what the Phantom Zone is, kind of like. It's like a mirror you're trapped in. All of a sudden, Clark falls in the mirror. He falls into the Phantom Zone, and he has no powers. He doesn't have any of his powers. Phantoms, which I would say the CGI, though, I would say one bad thing to everything, because the CGI for the Phantoms, I think, are very much dated and just, they don't look very good. They're not the worst thing I've ever seen, but they're not very good. But it is a TV show. TV shows don't have big budgets like movies do. But anyway, Clark is getting attacked until this girl named Raya shows up. Raya, as she rescues him, she talks to Clark, telling him that, you know, she worked with his father. She knew he was a good scientist, and she told him that Zod killed his family, killed Gabriel and his mother Laura, Gabriel's father, I mean, and, you know, and then she's going to help him escape. Meanwhile, though, Zod, who was planning to take over the Earth, as you saw at the end of season 5 when he was on top of Luthor, Zod was, after kissing Lana, he tells her who he is, and she's like, why are you doing this? And all around the Earth, everybody's going crazy, people are attacking. You see Lionel and Chloe in danger, and they go up to the office to talk about the Kryptonian symbols. they try to stop Zod and Lana, but Zod grabs Lana and flies her up. And he says, you become my heir. And she's like, I'm never going to be your heir. And she's confused by him. He's like, it's like, General Zod takes orders. He doesn't give them, Zod's plan is to basically, using Lex's body as a vessel is to rebuild Krypton on Earth, basically kill everyone on Earth. And he uses this, stone or whatever, this Kryptonian stone, to use it. And Lana at first, Lionel and Martha, who is also is a senator now after Jonathan died, became a senator, was on her way with Lois. They were going somewhere, but they ended up landing in the Arctic. They ended up landing while Martha sees the Force of Solitude. She has a conversation with Jor-El. It's like, Jor-El, you've done all these bad things to my son. And is like, yes, Martha can, but you can't blame me and all of that. And I like that moment with, Martha and Jor-El talking, and it was like, but Gabriel basically says to her, sorry, I did go over in my videos. Gabriel says to her, I couldn't pick a better family for Kal-El to be raised by. But afterwards, Lois is in the hospital. As Lionel was trying to go through these Kryptonian symbols, he talks to Martha saying that they need to stab him with his Kryptonian knife, and Lana is going to get it, but Zod sees that. She tries to seduce Lana seduces Zod, but Zod can tell what she's up to, and he grabs the sword, and he cuts her hand right here. Lana, bravely, I give this girl props. Look about Lana, she's tough. She pulls that knife right out. All that pain, comes right out. And meanwhile, Clark, while in the Phantom Zone, Clark runs into a former old flame, Jimmy Olsen. He's basically a new one-turn photographer there. And they kind of help each other out throughout the episode. Raya helps Clark, but you have these two other Kryptonians in season 5 and rival episode, they're in the Phantom Zone too, and they want to get revenge on Clark. And Raya's like, no, I'll help you kill him. We know he's going to take us to the portal to get free, to the Phantom Zone, get free from the Phantom Zone. But Clark is pretty much the only one that can go through it. Clark thinks that she betrayed him, but not. She kills the guy, whatever. Raya stabs him in the throat. She fights this other woman. You think she gets killed. She gets stabbed too, but anyway, it's a later episode. Clark escapes the Phantom Zone, but some of the Phantoms, the Phantoms escape. And Clark fights Zod, or tries to. Zod ends up pretty much kicking his ass, to be honest, because Zod is a warrior. Clark, decides to give up. He's like, kneel before Zod and serve me. Instead, he uses this Kryptonian symbol and gets Zod out, back to the Phantom Zone, out of Lex's body. Lex ends up in the hospital. Lex cannot remember anything. But at the end of the episode, the Phantoms escaped. So you see a Phantom it's like an island, it looks like Niagara Falls, but more like an island or whatever, where you see a Phantom come right at you, But yeah, it was a good episode. It was definitely interesting. Good way to open the season, and a good way to see some of the new characters like Jimmy Olsen. But Zod, really good episode, in my opinion. And another favorite of mine is called Sneeze. This is where Clark gets a new superpower, basically super breath. Clark spends a lot of the night helping, build Metropolis up after what Zod did, and he pretty much gets sweaty and tired, and he sneezes. Yes, not normal for him. But when he sneezes, the barn door blows right off, and Lois is jogging, and then the windows like that. She's like, what? And she doesn't know Clark's secret. They try to make an up excuse, marking them, and Clark still has problems with the sneezing. She doesn't tell Clark about it. Like, Clark, everybody sneezes, but when he sneezes, Clark, whoa. And, Clark, you got to get this sneeze thing under control, get some medicine or something. And Clark is like, what? And it's just, Clark's like, no. Clark's like, just joking. And during the episode, Lex is captured. You also meet Oliver Queen, played by Justin Hartley, who is, of course, Green Arrow. I'll just tell you right now. I've already said that 3 freaking times already. But Lex gets kidnapped. Lana, who's trying to find him, these guys kidnap him, thinking that he's invincible. They put a bullet in him, and they say, "What are your powers? How can you do that, Lex? Come on, you can fly, you can do this." Lex is like, "Look, my body was possessed by some creature or whatever." He doesn't know. Clark doesn't. I mean, Lex doesn't know it's Kryptonian, but they got him captured. Clark knows, even though he loves Lana, wants to be with her, and he doesn't how he feels about Lex. Has to go save Lex, and they have to get some information out of it. And he learns to control his power by just learning to blow, and he's able to blow like a vault door down, kind of like a bank vault. That's what I'm trying to say. He blows down, but they kidnap Lana, they're going to kill her. Lex is like, "No, don't kill her." And before these guys can do anything, I guess Lex fights them off, kills one of them, and the place gets on fire, and they're about to die. And all of a sudden it goes up. Well, it's actually, but Clark uses super breath to get rid of the fire. To get rid of the fire. Yeah. Lois also gets an investigation. She tries to investigate the barn door situation. I think they would take care of it, though, which is pretty funny, though. But overall, Sneeze was a good episode. Sorry if I forget some things. When you found out it was Oliver Queen, who was actually the one that planned the capture, because one of the guys comes in and says, like, this other guy, he was getting too risky, he was trying to kill Lex. And, Oliver says, he thinks he doesn't trust Lex at all. And then Lex, you find out a little later on in the season, which I'll mention, they have a past together. So you see Oliver shooting his arrow. He shoots his arrow, I think, toward like the Daily Planet sign, the Daily Planet globe, which I thought was pretty cool. But either way, Sneeze was a good episode in my opinion. And it was cool to see Clark get super breath. I don't know if he has freeze breath in one of the seasons, but I wish they would have had an episode of him having freeze breath, because Superman does have freeze breath. So, alright, and then another favorite episode of mine is called Arrow, where not Lana, but Lionel and Martha, they're at a party for Martha. It's a U.S. Senate bid, and basically the Green Arrow shows up, and the Green Arrow steals her necklace. Lois tries to stop the Green Arrow, but the Green Arrow is able to get away, and she wants to investigate him, get pictures of him, and you find out that the Green Arrow is stealing priceless stuff from people. He's basically committing these robberies, and Clark tries to stop him. And I like the moment, though, when Green Arrow uses his arrow, shoots an arrow across and slides down across from a building. Thought that was pretty cool. And he's able to, doesn't kill people, but when Lois and Chloe are investigating him, Green Arrow shoots an arrow, and it doesn't, not to kill anybody, but it's like arrow that can pass you out. Like when he first meets Clark, he tries to, maybe punch Clark, but Clark is like, he's got a different voice, like a kind of like a Batman voice, but definitely better done than Christian Bale, in my opinion. He's like, well, so I'm not the only one with a secret, But even when Clark eventually does find out Oliver's secret. Him and Oliver eventually become friends. But Green Arrow was definitely a good episode of my opinion. Good way to show how he was Green Arrow, and Lois. We see her. Eventually, she's not ready to, but she will become the journalist, the reporter, the famous reporter Lois Lane. Just not that Lois Lane yet. But overall, it was a good episode. And Clark, does keep his secret safe, and he keeps his secret safe in return. But either Arrow was good in my opinion. Alright, the another favorite episode of mine is called Reunion. Reunion. It's where Lex and Oliver attend their 10-year reunion. It was called Exemplar Academy. The guys talk. Lana and Lois are there too, because Lois is dating Oliver. Lana's with Lex. We find out they have a past that Oliver bullied Lex, and Oliver kind of knew the real Lex, kind of saw what Lex did. And then they talk about Duncan, which you find out that this time Ken is actually dead. Until, one of the friends, who calls Duncan a loser, there's like a statue that has a sword or whatever on top of this building. All of a sudden the sword kind of jumps off and stabs the guy, kills him, and then, Oliver and his other friend are talking about, wish they would spend time together more. Then all of a sudden the guy's car just blows up and the guy dies. And Clark, is trying to find this out, what's happening, and you look into the past where Lucas Gabriel, I think that's the guy's name, who plays a 12-year-old Lex. Lucas, I'm talking about the kid who was in high school. He was in High School Musical. He was in Switched at Birth. That actor, Lucas Gabriel, I think his name is. Anyway, he plays the young Lex. You feel that him and Duncan, him and Lex and Duncan were friends. Oliver and his friends bullied them a lot, tormented them. Lex used to wrote a comic book called I forget what it's called, Angel or something, White Angel or something, I forget, Warrior Angel. And you see him Duncan talk about it, and him and Duncan eventually find out that these guys are cheating on a test or are going to cheat. And Duncan wants to use this information to. Duncan wants to go to the dean about it, but Lex decides, being a Luther, decides to blackmail them to being more popular, and being to be friends with them, to make them popular. Because Lex wants to be friends with them so bad. He's tired of it. He doesn't want to be a loser. And Duncan says no. Lex tries to talk him into it. But Duncan pushes Lex, and Lex gets really mad. Lex just starts beating the shit out of Duncan. He just beats the hell out of him. And he says, "Duncan, I'm sorry." Duncan's like, "Don't. We're not friends anymore, Lex." And he backs up into the road. Duncan gets up by a car. But you find out that Lionel covered this up because he didn't want Lex in the paper. So apparently Duncan is not dead. Lionel used all his money to get on these experiments. He's more like a vegetable. Kind of like if you remember X2 X-Men United, where William Shatner's son was like this, that's what Duncan is like. And Lex and Oliver kind of confront each other, talk about the past. Lex punches Oliver, and they almost get into a fight until Duncan tries to use his attack, and I forget how, but somehow he stopped, and he just has a seizure and dies. And Lex and Oliver end up okay. They do talk in the end. Oliver's like, "Look, I regret picking on you every day. I'm sorry." Lex, probably who did not forgive him, says, "And I regret her having friends like you." But overall, it was a good episode. It was cool to see Oliver and Lex have a past. That was interesting. Then another favorite of mine is called Rage. Pretty much starts off with Oliver and Lois, of course, making out. Oliver, with her about before they can, do more of this, Oliver hears some people in trouble, so he puts on his Green Arrow gear. Oh yeah, in his nice apartment, he's got all his Green Arrow gear and all that stuff, all his arrows, and goes there, he knocks the bad guys out, until one of the guys, comes with them and shoots Oliver. Oliver pretty much you find out he's using this drug, that when he just gets the shot in, he drugs himself, but this is making him. He pretty much has a scientist working on this. He gets lazy. He leaves his arrow suit out, and Clark sees that. Clark says, "Oliver, what was walked in?" He's like, "You know what, Clark? Some of us aren't more like you. Some of us don't have powers. So why don't you back off? You make me mad." He's like, "Just let go. I'm fine." Just snaps on Clark, and he gets more aggressive and more angry at times with his rage. But at his research facility, he's doing more drugs, and Lex is also working with this lady. But let's say he was a scientist that built the drug. She gets killed, you find out later, by drugging. Oliver is just close to losing it. in the episode he wants to, like, Oliver just does not have a good, it's basically already enemies with Lex, and he's so angry, he forces Lex to sign something, I guess, kind of like Robin Hood, wants to, Lex not to steal anymore or whatever, and he makes the choice about Lex to do something. Lex wants his gun, and Oliver's got his arrow gun, and he's like, "We didn't get faster, gun arrow," and Green Arrow's like, "Which one will find out is faster?" And then he shoots the arrow, he shoots Lex in the heart, and, Oliver's like, "Oh, what have you done? You knew, Lex had passed out. You almost killed him." And, Oliver's like, "Let him die." And then Clark, like, pushes him. Then Oliver snaps out of it and is like, "Oh my God, what have I done? What have I done here?" Feeling bad for nearly killing him. Well, eventually they use that drug on Lex and bring Lex back to life. But Oliver dispensed the drugs, and he, thanks Clark for being there for him and helping him out. That he'll be, become a better hero. Not to steal anymore, not to do certain things like that anymore. But overall, it was a good episode. I enjoyed Rage. Kind of an episode about, even though, Lex Luthor is evil, there are bad people out in the world, but that doesn't give you the right to just kill somebody. It doesn't really justify it. And, I think that's what this episode was just kind of about. But it was good. Then another favorite episode of mine is called Static. We also find out, I don't know if it was part of the season, but you find out level 33.1, a LuthorCorp project that Lex has been working on. People with powers that he's been using, basically for his own gain, money, to get money and power. One of them, a patient named Bronson, who basically is like a static. He can make you disappear. Basically, he kidnaps, when Lex and Lana are in the mansion, breaks into the mansion. They think Lex is dead, but he kidnaps Lex, transporting him to another frequency plane, kind of like he's in another frequency. Lex isn't dead. And Lana's also pregnant. She's worried about Lex, And this guy pretty much tells, Lana, calls Lana and says, I have your boyfriend. He's been working on the 33.1. He's like, I'll show you where it's at. He tries to go to this elevator really quick, but of course it's disappeared. I think it was Lionel that did it. Yeah, it was Lionel that made it disappear, and Chloe and Jimmy, who have also, been in a relationship now. Chloe's a boyfriend. Jimmy is a boyfriend now. They try to help him out. And, when the guy didn't see, he's like, where is it? Freak out. He kind of reminded me of, just like he was just Michael Douglas in Fallout. The movie Fallout I'm talking about, directed by Joel Schumacher. But that's what he looked like to me. But the guy, and he looked kind of like the father of Elijah Wood as well. But the guy was nearly freaked out. He starts saying, where's it at? And he tries to nearly kill Lex, but Lex eventually kills him. Lex is also able to listen to, you can see some people talking. He's trapped in the mansion. He can't go nowhere. He's being trapped in this frequency. You find out Lana, is pregnant. Lex is like, you're pregnant? You didn't tell me? I think something like that, yeah. And, meanwhile, Clark, you have Dave Bautista gets started, which Dave Bautista would also go on to be in Guardians of the Galaxy films and Avengers films, as Drax the Destroyer. So, and here he basically plays a Phantom Zone, because Clark during the season, like I said, is hunting Phantom Zone. This Phantom Zone, Adler, basically is, Clark has to find him, and he's pretty much killing people and eating them. Clark pretends to be like, an assistant to this medical examiner, and he's like, oh, can I see the phone? So Clark is able to pretend. He walks away, he's like, oh, hey kid, you throwing up already? Clark is able to find out some of the police. He's able to pretend to be a cop. He tries to fight the Phantom Zone of Bautista, but Bautista nearly kills him, and to a Martian Manhunter who eventually kills him. You just see his eyes blow up into red, and then he flies away. And at the end of the episode, when Lana's pregnant, Lex proposes to her. She doesn't give him an answer yet, because she's basically still in love with Clark. But overall, Static was a good episode in my opinion. Alright. Then another episode called Subterranean. Another favorite of mine called Subterranean. What do you have a former name? Jed McNally. Well, that's my name, last name McNally. is pretty much, you have this boy, I forget his name, Javier, and his friend, I think it was Jose or whatever. They try to escape from this farm. They are illegal aliens, illegal immigrants is what I'm trying to say. And Jim McNally, he's like kind of like a trimmer. He sees powers, abilities from the meteor rocks where he goes on his body can go underground and grab somebody and kill him. He kills the Jose. Javier ends up on the camp farm. Clark sees him and gives him some food. He's like, why you hide? He's like, well, I'm trying to see my mother. He's like, we'll help you. Jimmy and Chloe try to help him out, feed him, and Clark tries to help him out, tries to investigate Jim McNally's. Even though that he went fishing with his dad, but you find out he's keeping them kind of like slaves. And Clark, of course, has to stop him. He sees all these bodies. They able to arrest the guy, but the guy gets away from the cops. They find Javier's mother. It was good to see Clark help somebody. That's what Superman, Clark Kent would usually do, help somebody out. Help people, that's what he's good at. You think that it might have to do something to do with 33.1. Clark tries to talk to Lex, talks to Lex about it. I'm sorry if I forget stuff, but tries to talk to Lex about it, but Lex, won't tell him nothing about it. Until, Jed McNally tries to, attack Clark. Of course, Clark, having his powers, just, knocks him out. You don't see it, but he knocks him out, puts him in a coma. Clark goes back. Well, the guy ends up in a coma, but Clark knocks him out. And Javier gets to go be free and stuff and go, Martha at first is going to call the cops, but she decides to help Javier and his mother and, let them get their green card and, live in America. And he ends up comatose, and Lex is in prison and basically in a relocated 33.1. I think it might be the end of the episode, but I like the moment where Lex is just, at this moment of light walking and all the prisoners like trying to grab him and he's just walking, just a very slow walking and good music bill going by. But Subterranean, really good episode of my opinion. One of my favorites. And then another favorite of mine is Justice, where you have actors who played, basically this is kind of like a Justice League episode. Where you have Bart, AC, and Victor come back. At the beginning you have Bart running, faster, and Clark chasing him down the floor. It's like, Bart, saying, hey. And you find out that Bart is working with, you find out that he's working for Oliver Queen. They're trying to, him and Victor and AC, they're trying to locate 33.1 and destroy it, basically. And at first Clark doesn't know this. He questions, I like the scene though when Bart is eating all this food at Camp Farm, and then Martha's like, well, where do you put it? Bart is like, well, I just run a lot, and that's how I get it out of my system. He's like, can you clean up? And he cleans up in a flash. But anyway, you find out that he's been getting information for Oliver, because he can do that because he's fast. Like when him and Oliver meet, like green, Oliver, just up his green arrow, of course. But eventually he gets kidnapped by Lex's team. Bart does, and Lex is like, alright, who are you working for? Tell me. He's like, I'm looking for Kiss My Butt, and Lex is like, don't talk, I'm gonna run you out of it. Basically, so he makes Bart run so fast around, and when you meet AC and Victor, you find out that Clark is talking to them. Clark, does help them out, decides to go save him on his own, but he talks to Victor about his girlfriend Catherine, who we saw in the Cyber last season episode, season 5, but he said that Catherine, it just didn't work out. He was on his own, so Oliver helped him out. AC, of course, continue working in the ocean and stuff, do what he's doing, Mr. Oliver reached out to him. He just needed a team to help, and Clark tries to go save Bart, but eventually Chloe's able to help out, kind of be like what they would call later in the show, Watchtower. She's able to find out that there's kryptonite in that green kryptonite, which is Clark's weakness. Clark does go in green kryptonite. He's weak, and the team shows up. AC and Cyborg break in. Cyborg can actually break into his system. Computer. He's basically not as just a robot, but he's a computer as well, like a living machine. he can hack into any machine basically. He does that, and AC is able to go through the Aquaman basically, and Cyborg, that's their code names. They break in. I like it when Cyborg punches these two guys out of his way. AC knocks those guys out, which you don't see. It's fun to see them joke around with each other. It's funny most of the time, when they use the humor. Green Arrow is able to save Clark. Clark is able to go save Barry. Green Arrow comes up against Lex. Shoots an arrow at him. Doesn't kill him again. Doesn't shoot him. Just shoots right at, beside Lex's face, waiting him right there. And this pisses off Lex. They destroy 33.1. That's when you have, after they destroy it, you have the nice, let's see, good cover. Yep, you have them walking out of 33.1 facility. And then, at the end of the episode, they all decide to go stop. More 33.1s, but Clark said he's going to stay there for now, but he's not going to help him. See him just walk away at the end. Yeah, I don't think you see Oliver for the rest of the season after this. But Justice, really good episode. They're thinking, what's his name? We're thinking something with Justice. Of course, they become Justice League one day. But anyway, another favorite episode of mine is called Labyrinth. This episode is really interesting, where Clark is in the farm working until he's attacked by his owner, until he wakes up in a mental asylum, and this Dr. Hudson telling Clark, you're not from Krypton. You're not Kal-El. You were adopted. You were born here on Earth. You were adopted. You've been foster home. You just kind of start having these imaginations and illusions. And Clark, who thinks he's actually going crazy, but eventually starts to believe it. To the Martian Manhunter himself is in there to help him out. Clark is scared of going kryptonite until he eventually breaks out of it. He sees Lana in this universe. Lana is his girlfriend, and he realizes he could be with Lana, but he knows it's all not real. Martha is married to Lionel. Clark is able to find some of these orderlies off all these Lexus guards who come chasing him. Almost try to shoot him, but with the help of Chloe, he gets away. And Lana tries to talk to Clark about, getting himself in, going back to the asylum, to get his treatment. And eventually Chloe gets shot. Clark gets arrested. He's about to give up hope until he realizes that Dr. Hudson himself is the Zoner. And he attacks his owner. He's like, I'm Clark Kent, I'm Kal-El, son of Krypton. And he attacks him. Clark is able to get out of there. Boom! And Martian Manhunter, of course, helped him out. He's able to use this crystal that Rye gave him. Well, a crystal that Martian Manhunter uses. And then, of course, he flies away. But overall, Labyrinth was a good episode. It was good to see him, maybe thinking Clark, maybe thinking he's going insane. It was just a very interesting episode, in my opinion. Very well done. Another favorite episode of mine, called Crimson. This is where you have like a Valentine's Day party. Lois, and Clark are actually set up on a date because, well, she doesn't break up with Oliver, but Oliver kind of, has to go do his Green Arrow business, which basically I think to her, he just lied about it. And her and Clark are set up and they make this joke. Jimmy thinks, come on, Lois and Clark are perfect. It's like putting dynamite together. And they say, I'm this, you're that, and you see that Clark and Lois have this banter together, but they don't like each other. But they will actually really fall in love as the show continues, but for now they just don't like each other. Until Lois, this lady used her like a red kryptonite, it's red meteor, red kryptonite lipstick that she puts on, and when she sees Clark, she falls in love with him. The next day she dresses up sexy. Well, she does look good. She hit on her boob, she gets Lois loves Clark forever. Lois and Clark forever. And Clark's about to fall for her. He's like, no. He's like, I'm standing away from Lois right now. And Lois she makes like a CD form. Eventually, she's able to get to Clark. By the way, Lana and Lex, she's starting to marry Lex because she tells Clark, that they're having Lex tells Clark about them having a baby, but They decide to get married. They don't tell anybody about this. They're going to have a wedding reception. But eventually Lois eventually kisses Clark, and when he gets that red K on his lips, that's when he becomes red K Clark. Where he loses inhibitions and just becomes a real bad guy, basically. And him and Lois start making out. He tells Lois a secret. He's able to fly to Oliver's place, and they start making out there until Clark decides to crash the party, goes to the wedding, says some things like, "Mom, you're more of a Luther than Kent is at Lex. You've always been a bad friend." And Lex is like, "Clark, why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Lex, oh yeah, Lana, congratulations, you're pregnant." And Clark is like, "Lex, once you stop," and Clark's like, "I'm not done yet." And Lex tries to attack Clark, but Clark pushes him over, and he kidnaps Lana. It's like, "Lana, you've always loved me. I felt something there for me." Kisses Lana. Lex shows up with a gun, points it at Clark, and Lana's like, "Look, I'm not competition for any of you two." And Clark and Lex, of course he can't shoot Clark because Clark bullet can't hurt him. So he attacks Clark. Clark attacks Lex, about to kill him. He tries a chisel. Lex goes a chisel, tries to stab him with it, but it doesn't work. Lana sees this. She actually grabs a chisel. You actually find out, though, that she's also been in the barn a couple times taking pictures, basically trying to find out Clark's secret. She knows Clark has a secret, and she's been on it by telling it. And, but Martha shows up before Clark can actually kill Lex. He's just going to stop him. And him and Lois, they put Lois back to normal when they put some spray on her. She tries to attack Chloe, but Jimmy gets the spray on her. And him and Clark say, there's nothing ever between us. And he's like, "Thanks for the seed." And they have a laugh about it at the end. Lana does go more suspicious about Clark's secret. I think at the end of the episode, in her drawer, she has the chisel that Clark stabbed with, thinking that this didn't hurt him. But overall, Crimson, really good episode in my opinion. Alright, another favorite episode of mine called Freak. This is where you have an episode where a boy named Tobias, where we have Lana and Chloe having their little bachelor party where they're bowling, and this boy tries to flirt with Lana, but Lana's like, "Well, I'm engaged," and this guy has the power of telekinesis. Tobias is this boy that can, when he was blinded by the last meteor shower in season 5, the last meteor shower was in season 5, he can sense the meteor freaks, and he tells them that one. But Tobias thinks they're helping them out instead of kidnapping them. And Chloe saw this, and she gets Clark, and then she's like, "Well, where's this guy at?" Then all of a sudden the guy shows up, says, "Oh, last night, yeah, you were here," and he doesn't remember a thing. And Chloe also gets kidnapped. You find out that Chloe is a meteor freak too. And she's like, "I'm a meteor freak, ain't I?" And you find out that she has a tag on her collarbone. Clark x-rays her. She's like, "Clark, you gotta help me get this out." She's like, "I'll get a knife if you don't do it." She gets this knife, kitchen knife, about to cut her bolt collarbone with Clark. Uses heat vision and pulls it out, and does hurt her because I'm sure the heat vision, tells her not to move, and then burns her as well. And of course, Lex knows that she's a meteor freak, but Lana offers to help him out. And she is more suspicious about Clark. She's like, "Is Clark a meteor freak?" He's like, "No, Clark's the most normal guy I ever met." Until the doctor that watches Tobias is told about Lex, "I don't want loose end doctor," so he tells him to kill Tobias. Basically wants him to kill Tobias. But before he can kill Tobias, Clark shows up. Lana sees the bullet, realizes something. I think she grabs it. But Tobias receives medical attention by Oliver and his team. So overall, Freak was a good episode. It was interesting though that Chloe was a meteor freak. But you do feel sorry for her, and she's definitely afraid to tell Jimmy about it, Because being a meteor freak though in this show, for them, you kind of got to feel bad for them because people were scared of them, because of their abilities. But Freak overall, good episode. It was interesting to see Chloe being a meteor freak. Alright, then another third episode is mine called Promise. Lana begins having second thoughts about the wedding. She eventually wants to find out the truth about Clark. Clark is upset about the wedding, even though Lex at the end, one episode invited him to the wedding. He's like, I want to see, he's like, I want you to see what you lost. I think Lex just wants Clark to be there so he can tell him, like, hey, I took the load of your life, like the best kind of revenge ever I got on you. Lana tells Clark that she wants out of the marriage and says, I'll meet you at the bar at 5, and Clark is getting ready to talk to her. I said, Lana, I've been in love with you ever since, and of course he's talking to the dog, Shelby, which is funny. Lana doesn't show up. She's going to write Clark a note. Well, pretty much, she does find the truth about Clark, because Clark was called by Chloe. Chloe was trapped in the cellar, in the wine cellar, and it's like a vault. That door that's locked. Lana is hiding, and she sees Clark use his super strength in his heat vision. Then when she hears the truth, she realizes Clark doesn't know that, but she's gonna write a note, telling Lex, sorry, but I can't go through the wedding, I'm sorry. And Lex, Clark, Lionel not wanting to be Clark, Lionel not wanting Lex to be upset about it, tells Lionel tells Lana, that you are going to marry Lex. It's like, she's like, Mr. Luther, it's none of your business. Like, it is my business, it's my son. Tells her, you're going to marry Clark, and he basically says, I'm going to kill Clark Kent. Oh, you know a secret. Well, guess what? I know his weakness. Clark has a killer self, and I know it, and I'll kill him if you don't marry Lex. So he basically forces her to marry Lex. She's trapped in this marriage, and she's upset about it. She's crying about it. Clark's like, comes to her, like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? I thought you loved me. I was like, just deal with it, okay? I changed my mind. She's crying about it because she loves Clark, and until Lana took that away. And then you see them driving off at the end, and her looking at Clark, and Clark heartbroken about it. Well, Promise was a really good episode, in my opinion. But she marries Lex in order to protect Clark's life, because he protected her so many times, so she wanted to do the same for him. She just had to break his heart to do it. Then another favorite of mine is called Combat. This is where you have the wrestler named Kane, who finds out there's like a fight club going on. Kane, basically, his character is a phantom called Titan. Clark, fights some criminals, justice. Cloud learns about this underground layer called Titan, and they see Titan fight, and they realize that he's a phantom, and so they have to stop him. Lois decides to go in for a story for this. She goes and dresses up in in a sexy red skirt, basically, and gets some pictures, and she fights this woman, but she gets kidnapped, and these people kidnap her and are going to force her to fight. Clark meets the main guy who thinks that Clark's crazy, but Clark, goes against him. He tries to shoot Clark, but Clark catches the bullet. Like, looks like you got some fight in you, And he gets Clark in the match, and Clark, he's like, I want to fight Titan. No, not Titan yet, just this. And he's like, well, Wilson's like, come on, Clark, let's fight. Let me fight. We got to put on a show for him, or both dead. She tries to punch Clark. It's like, oh, because it hurts. You punch Superman. It's like punching a wall, or a steel wall, I guess, or brick, basically. But Titan sees him as like, Titan sees him as like Kryptonian, And the main guy, the guy that's in charge of this tries to stop. Titan's like, no, not yet, and then Titan kills him. Everybody runs out there. Titan and Clark are starting to fight. He beats up Clark a bit. And he's like, it's time to die, Kryptonian, but Clark is able to get out of it and fights him back. And Kane has like this in his hand. He's got like a sword, kind of. And Clark punches him over. Good fight. And he lands on his own sword into his stomach, and Titan's like, good fight. passes out. And Lex finds out at the end that Titan wasn't human at all. By the way, Lana suffers a miscarriage and Lex shows her evidence of her pregnancy. Apparently, I don't think she finds out yet, but in order for her to stay in the marriage for her and love him, Lex manipulates her, and Lex basically fakes her pregnancy. Yes. But Lana doesn't find that out yet. And she gets this miscarriage, and she's very distraught about it. Anyway, Combat, good episode in my opinion. It was cool to see the wrestler Kane in here. I think he's done some movies too. I believe so. But anyway, another episode called, favorite of mine is called Progeny. We find out Chloe's mother, Myra, played by Linda Carter, who, Linda Carter, if y'all remember, she was Wonder Woman in the 1970 shows Wonder Woman. Yeah. You find out that she has the power to control meteor freaks. When Chloe was a little girl, she was set there. Chloe attacks Lex's core, but you find out she's been, she wakes up in the morning in her apartment, there's mud everywhere. Her and Clark doing some investigating. Clark is able to use super speed to grab something she needs, use super hearing to find out that she's part of Lex's 33.1. Instead, Lex tries to tell her, send this guy back for me and I'll let you see Chloe. She tells him in her mind, find Lex Luthor and kill him, And this guy tries to tackle Lana, but Clark comes to the rescue, saves her, of course, takes Lana to the hospital. But Chloe wants to help her get her mom out of there, get her out of this asylum, and reuse her powers. He's a guy who has his own super strength. Chloe almost kills Lex, very close to killing Lex, until Clark is able to use super speed to push her out of the way and grab her. And Chloe, you feel sorry for her mother at the end because her mother has to go back to the medicine. She's just not stable. And it was just very sad seeing Chloe having a real emotional reunion with her mom. And I think Linda Carter did a really good job. Very good performance in here, in my opinion. I'm glad they brought Wonder Woman herself in here. Yeah. And seeing Lex's 33.1, more of his projects was just more interesting in my opinion. But overall, really good episode. I like seeing that Chloe saw her mother, because I think in last season 5, she went to go see her mom in the mental hospital, which wasn't played by Linda Carter, by the way. I don't think so. Because Linda Carter's dark hair, not blonde. So, anyway, another favorite episode of mine. We got 3 more, we got a couple more. So, Nemesis. This woman named Jodie Keenan, who is the wife of a guy named Wes Keenan, basically goes down into these holes, it's an abandoned tunnel system where I guess it's part of 33.1. You have Lionel and Lionel talking about it, and Lionel says something he knows about the project or Project Ares. Before something happens, they see this lady there. She blows up the hole, she kidnaps Lex, and then asks Lex, "Where's my husband? Where's Wes? I would know if he's dead." And Lex lies to her pretty much, and Clark, Lana pretty much finds out. I think it was part in the episode. She has these tests done. She finds out she was not pregnant. So, one of revenge on Lex. She knows about the holes, the tunnels that they can get out of, but she wants Lex to die in revenge for what he did to her. She takes this briefcase. Lana, shoots a gun to the briefcase, opens it, is able to see like a phantom or whatever, and is scared, spooked by it. Chloe wouldn't mind seeing Lex die, but Clark goes in there. He's bleeding a little bit. Apparently there's kryptonite in the tunnels. There's a lot of green kryptonite, so Clark has to work through it, but not trying to prove a secret. And he's like, Lex, we're really friends. I like the conversation between them about how their friendship was growing apart, and they used to be good friends, and now you just, can't trust each other anymore. But it was just good moments. You gotta watch the episode to get it. And Lana does have Clark, but she jumps right to Lex. And Lana also finds out from Lionel that he threatened to kill Clark in order to really protect her, to protect him. Sorry, he's protecting Clark, basically, which you find out a little more. Because Lionel's writing more kryptonians, so he's not completely evil. He is one of the good side, but he's his ways might be wrong, but he's doing it for the right reasons. basically, is what I'm trying to say about Lyle. But him and Lex get out there. But it was interesting to see Clark and Lex, help each other out. Kind of be a little bit of friends and how to help to work each other, even though they're enemies now. And even though Clark would never murder him, basically, because it's just not the right thing, not him for decide. But overall, a really good episode, And Clark is able to use his powers by the sun, because Superman gets his powers from Earth's sun, so the yellow sun. But overall, this is really good episode in my opinion. Another favorite of mine is episode called Noor, where at the beginning Jimmy and Lois are watching like this 1940s movie. They hear a gunshot and Lana was shot in the elevator. She was at the opera house. Lex is, all worried and saying, "Is she okay?" Jimmy is knocked unconscious. He's about to find some evidence of the killer. And he ends up waking up being he wakes up in the 1940s in the Daily Planet. I like when they all have that voice, "Got me, sweetheart." I can't do the voice, but where in the story, Jimmy, is called by Olsen here. It's called by Lana Lang, telling him that I want to talk about solving a murder. It's like, which murder? Mine. And he meets her and she says that she needs help to give evidence on Lex. You find out in the episode that Lois is like this loud singer. She was very beautiful. And then Clark, you find out that he's a cop, but he's been, of course, in the 1940s, though, Kent has no powers, because Jimmy doesn't know about his abilities, but we found out that Kent and Lana in this version are sleeping together behind Lex's back, and Lex has also, been busy making out with Lois. And so, he tries to make a deal with Lex for these pictures he took. He shoots Lex thinking Lex has a gun. I think Lex had like a paper or something. It was by accident. And basically he finds out that Lana in the story set him up. She's going to kill Jimmy, but until Clark in the episode, in the 1940s version of this episode, shoots her down. He's like, I just got too much involved in the case, which I should never do again. Never get involved in the job. And Jimmy's arrested, and he wakes up, he's able to find out the evidence. They found out this guy knocked him out, but, you find out that he basically was hiding the evidence for some reason. You find out that Lana actually forced Lana to marry Lex, just to spy on Lex, to spy on his projects at Ares. And you find out that Lex is working with Senator Burke on a project called Ares. Overall, Noah was a good episode. I love the 1940s film. Just the look and design of them filming the 1940s. Really did an excellent job in my opinion. I was really impressed at how it looked. Alright guys. And then the last episode of the series, another favorite of mine, last episode of the series, of this season, an episode called Phantom. Where, here no live TV. Where you have this man at the beginning his body's been possessed by a phantom. These people call an exorcist until Martian Manhunter shows up. The phantom attacks him. The phantom escapes when Martian Manhunter goes flat to the sun, up to the moon. This guy to get healed from his injury. Lex and his team try to show up, but the phantom escapes, gets away, and goes into this little boy, and you find out that in Project 33.1 that Lex has all these people in there that he's keeping for these projects. And Lana decides that she's done with Lex. She goes to Clark, telling him that she's like, I'm leaving Lex. He's like, I was saying, I'm sorry, but I just can't. And he's like, Clark, I just have to go. And then Clark, he shows her his powers. He's like, Lana, wait, don't go yet. I want to tell you the truth. Like, Clark, I know about your powers. Well, you don't know everything. There's more. I come from another planet. It's called Krypton. Millions of where my parents sent me here in a ship. It was like, I have my superpowers. She's like, Lana, please say something. And, she kisses Clark and says, you're still the same Clark Kent to me. And she tells him about Lionel threatening, he's like, I didn't want to marry Lex Clark, I'm so sorry, but he threatened to kill me. He threatened to kill you. Lionel did. And Lana just very distraught about this. Clark, gives her a hug. And goes confronts Lionel. He's like, you think you can just control my life? He's like, no, Clark, I was helping you. Clark just got his hands on the close to him. Clark is about to punch him to a Martian Manhunter. He's like, this man is on our side. Don't kill him. And, Clark, Lionel tells Clark that I need to spy on him. I need to protect you from Clark, from Lex, finding out your secret. So that's why I did this. And he finds out the parts of power, tells him about the Kryptonian symbols he's been looking up. Lois discovers Lex's research facility because in the last episode her friend was Kramer, whatever his name was. Pretty much, she's trying to investigate Lex, trying to get even with him for what he did. She tries to break into the tunnels of 33.1 until one of these guys shows up. She fights with this guy, he has a knife, but he stabs. Lois is able to pull the knife out, but dies. You find out Chloe's power. I guess still, she cries because Lois dies until, her tear brings her back to life. Here's a room, brings her back to life. She's like, Chloe. And, Lana is going to leave Lex at the end. Well, Lana goes to Lex and is like, Lana, she tells Lex, I'm leaving you. He's like, why are you leaving me? He's like, Lex, don't believe this between us is lies. You faked my pregnancy. What kind of a monster does that? And he goes, like, Clark, isn't it? Clark Kent, he's like the king of all liars. How could you trust him, Lex says. And she tells Lex, Clark, she says, Clark will mean more to me than you ever will. And, Clark Kent means more to me than you ever will. And Lex punches Lana in the face. She's like, that's the last time you get to touch me. He's like, you think I can just let you walk away? She's like, what are you going to do, Lex? Kill me? And next thing you know, she's escaping. She's like, I got to get out of here. And her car blows up. But you find out, I'm going to say some spoiler, Lana doesn't die. She fakes her death. If you've seen the show, you know that she fakes her death. Lionel tells Clark, and Clark, upset, goes and almost attacks Lex, almost ready to kill him, until the Phantom shows up. The Phantom attacks the Doctor and Lex's security guard. Lex grabs the Doctor, pushes the Doctor in the way, and the Doctor gets killed by this Phantom. It's like, a Kryptonian. Kind of like Kryptonian, And basically attacks Clark, gets a piece of his DNA, and of course becomes Bizarro. It's like, who are you? He's like, I'm you. Took a little piece of your DNA. He punches Clark. He tries to fight more. Clark's able to punch him back. And it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna kill you, Clark, and I'm gonna have your life. Lex, by the end, Lex is arrested for the murder of Ronald Lang. The police, tell him, you're under arrest for the murder of Ronald Luther. And at the end, Clark, him and Bizarro, mash up. They punch at each other. Clark, falls at the end of the season, at the end of the episode, and at the end of the episode, very end of it, you see Bizarro flying, and then his face, getting that metal face, that Bizarro looking face, flying right at the end of the camera, and that's the end of season 6. Alright guys, now let me give you my okay episodes of season 6. I know we're in 58 minutes, almost an hour in, I'm sorry, but it's should only be 5 episodes less and I'm done. Trust me guys, I want to sit down and relax, because I got work tomorrow and Friday. Alright, and my first okay episode is called Wither, where Lex throws his custom charity ball for the All-American Rejects the day before him, and this is where Lana and Clark, of course, do this. I like it when, when I think in this episode where Lois meets Oliver, she kind of, is rude to him, and she talks to Oliver. They start flirting with each other, and eventually, she agrees to be his date. I like at the end of the episode where Oliver, gets the can with his arrow, but instead he gets the top lid of the can off, which was cool to see him do that. But meanwhile, you have there's this phantom, this woman who, kind of like Poison Ivy almost. She's kidnapping people and killing them. You have in the beginning Jimmy and Chloe making out, and then when they hear this lady scream, I thought it was funny when Jimmy said, "Oh yeah, we should definitely shoot that in the deep dark woods," And basically, she's looking for a mate. Clark tells this lady, who's pretending to be the park ranger, Phantom Lady. She has a name. Oh yeah, basically he was throwing shade for the victims of Dark Thursday, which Zod calls. Gloria, the park ranger. Until, she attacks Clark, she hangs him up on this plant and kills Clark until Chloe helps him out, and Clark fights her at the end by using his heat vision and destroys her. But overall, it was just okay in my opinion. And then another favorite of mine is, but it was nice to see Lois and Oliver dating, And then another called Fallout. Another okay episode in my opinion called Fallout. You have Balor here. Balor was not really that good of an actor in my opinion. I wouldn't call him an actor. But anyway, he takes possession of Balor's body, and this is where you have Raya come back when you thought she died in the Phantom Zone. Colonel Clark, kind of like race. He showed he used her powers to race, and she tells him, your father's sending you, Jarrell's sending you here for a reason. To do what? To keep her from killing themselves, to protect, the fate of Krypton. And anyway, him and Raya decide to take on Baron, who's a very powerful, nearly kills Clark, but Raya is able to use her strength, and they fight, Baron, who possesses Balor's body, a Phantom, and they're able to destroy the Phantom at the end. Balor doesn't remember anything at the end, but overall, I just thought it was an okay episode. Meh. She's alright, and I just I could tell without Balor though. But that's just me. I don't think you really needed him in this episode, but it was alright. Then the third of mine is called Hydra, which I know the actress that plays in this episode called her name Tori Spelling. Yeah, I don't know. She just to me the woman looks like she's a big face of a cartoon, a silly cartoon. But in here, she's a gossip columnist who has the ability to morph into water. She listens to people's gossips. What about Lex and Clark? About, her having some doubts about being with Clark. It causes some drama. Until, Lana and Chloe eventually decide to stop her. They smash her into Lana's car. Well, Chloe does until the fence, and basically she splashes. But overall, she's trying to expose Clark's secret as well. Before Lana can hear anything about Clark's secret, about him being an alien, she destroys the computer. Because this lady's close to exposing Clark's secret. I think she comes back in season 8, though. But Tori Spelling was she was weak in my opinion. Just never been a fan of the actors. I don't know, like I said, I think she has the face of a silly cartoon character. But overall, I can't take her seriously. She was just laughable in here. Lex chose to find out, just paid her information to find out information about Clark. But of course, thanks to Chloe, overall, it was just an okay episode. It was meh. Just not a fan of Tori Spelling, but that's just me. Another okay episode, in my opinion, called Trespass. Well, Lana, of course, you find out in this episode, she's investigating Clark. His ability, she still has the chisel from the last episode of Crimson. And just somebody's taking a picture of her. You find out somebody's stalking her. She goes to the camp farm just to go in Clark's room to investigate and learn more about him. You find out she's been taking pictures in the barn a lot, trying to form, kind of been orbiting a secret, as Chloe would say, almost coming in for a landing. But you find out that it's one of Lex's security team who killed one of those security men. Tells her, I gotta protect you, Lana. I love you, I'm in love with you, and I guess he's obsessed with Lana. Lana attacks him. Clark, of course, shows up at the end to save her. I mean, yeah, it was interesting to see Lana continue investigating Clark's secret, but I just like these other episodes, my other favorite episodes, that I just think are better than this, but that's just my opinion. But Trespass was alright in my opinion. Yeah, the security man named Mac who falls to his death at the end. But overall, Trespass was alright in my opinion. But it was interesting to see Lana trying to investigate Clark's secret and learn more about him. Alright guys, just one more okay episode and that's it for this video. Oh, nearly 4 o'clock already. Or it's only 3:40, but anyway. And that's an episode called, Prototype. Where, if you'll, the Nemesis episode where you find out that Lex is still working in his 30.1 project, is working with Senator Burke. Senator Burke threatens Lex, saying, I'm going to put you out of business for good. I'm going to make sure you don't have to have a job, make you lose all your money. And Lex not taking that threat well. They decide to practice with Wes where he can disappear and he can stealthily kill people. And Lex is like, good, let's get some more security men. I want to see him kill him a bit more. Until he gets, Wes, his prototype, to kill, gets him to kill Senator Burke until there's a witness that is Lois. Lois has ever talked to Wes, and Wes is like, because he's a machine that's in his head, and him and Lois talk, but eventually he goes back to it, they're in control again, until eventually Clark has to fight Wes. He uses his heat vision to save Lois, and Lois is upset, and Lois vows to get revenge, for Wes's death against Lex. And pretty much Lionel tells Mark, that comes to the farm, tells Mark that she can take a job in Washington D.C. following Senator Burke's death, so money easy from his position for a while. Clark says, Mom, I can handle it. I think it turned out to might have left the show, so I don't think she's in the next season, but overall, Prototype was okay. It was interesting to see Lois, I guess you could say her and this guy might have, had a fling too. I mean, I would think so, because she knew him for a while, because they were both Army brats when they were kids, because her dad, General Sam Lane, was general, took her from base to base, and that's how she became friends with Wes. And, I like her determination to get revenge. I like Lois Lane because she's always determined to find a story. She's a very strong woman. She's very hard on about, getting the story done and just never giving up. But that's why I like the character of Lois Lane. But overall, Prototype was just okay in my opinion. Alright guys, overall, season 6 of Smallville, great in my opinion. One of the best seasons of the show in my opinion, up there with season 1, season 2, season 5, and season 5 in my opinion. Yeah, loved this season, really good. Like the Phantom Zoners, that was interesting. Lex and Clark getting married and seeing more Lex going to his darker side, seeing him eventually becoming the more evil man. You will see more in season 7 of him doing more evil, of doing more bad stuff that he does. You gotta figure, because after the season 5 episode, Lex missed that he was gonna, do more stuff for money and power. And it was awesome that they brought in Green Arrow. Yeah, Green Arrow is awesome in this show. I like that, Oliver is a funny character, he's Blackcrack, which, I do like the TV show Arrow starring Stephen Amell, but I wish he had more of a sense of humor in the show. In this show, Green Arrow has more of a sense of humor, and the suit looks really cool, and I like the glasses and the voice change. I forgot to mention that I liked in the Rage episode where Lois was gonna, she hit someone with a dumbbell, Green Arrow, who she thinks it's Oliver, but she doesn't know that, thinks that he's trying to steal from Oliver, the Green Arrow, and he's like, I'm sorry, he's like, just don't, go away. But overall, season 6, it was also good to see some old characters come back, like Jimmy Olsen, and it's just interesting to watch, Yeah. It was enjoyable all the way to see through. Yeah. It was just very fun. My rating for this season, though, is 4 to 5 stars, and a thumbs up for Smallville season 6. Guys, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, what are your favorite episodes of Smallville Season 6? Let me know in the comments down below. And what do you think of this season? And next... Just get up. I'll probably go ahead and start watching this today. After I'm done, uploading this video and stuff. But anyway, next will be my favorite episodes, which we get Supergirl in here, Clara Zor-El, in this next season, and that, of course, is Season 7. So next will be my thoughts on favorite episodes of Smallville Season 7. So this will be next show. Hope you look forward to this, and I hope you look forward to my thoughts on my favorite episodes of Smallville Season 7. This is next. And guys, tell me in the comments down below, what are your favorite episodes of Smallville Season 6? And what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Zoning out here. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.